What the hell is going on here? Okay. Kakariko Village. Okay, I'm seeing something about the hook shot. Oh, okay. So if I go to the graveyard and race the guy, I should be able to get the hook shot. Yeah, I don't know why it disconnected, but I mean, it's raining here, but it's not like bad, you know. I don't think it's like really storming, it's just raining some, so I don't know why it would disconnect, but I don't know, OBS probably just being dumb or something. Oh, fuck. Okay, I don't think I was supposed to do that. Let's try that again, I guess. Didn't feel like I was that quick, but good, I got the hook shot. Doesn't that sound cool? Pretty cool, right? I got mad at somebody yesterday because I was talking to somebody on customer support about trying to like get a refund on something. And they were like, no, we can't do that, you know. And then they were like, well, I hope that we were able to help you out today or something. And I was like, or they said, like, I hope you understand. And I was like, no, actually, I don't understand. And I was mad and I just didn't, I was chatting with somebody online. I just didn't know what to say. And so instead of saying, have a nice day, I just told them to have a day. I was like, just have a day. And like, doesn't necessarily have to be nice, but just. And then I thought about that afterwards. I thought, well, that's, you know, I probably could have said something better than that, but it's just funny because in the past, and I even brought this up, I said in the past, I was like, you know, I said, I've had no problems in the past. Like, if I have something that you list as like non returnable, and a lot of times they're nice and they'll just be like, well, we'll just give you the refund anyway. And this time they were like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, okay, why was it that every other time in the past you could do that? And then this time you were like, no. And they're like, yeah, it's just the way it is. I was like, I don't think I accept that. But I did have to laugh later because I thought of all the things I could have said, that was probably not the best. That wasn't exactly like the best comeback. Yeah, pretty much. I have to say, I've never really been the best at comebacks. All right, let's see. Turn to the market. Okay, and then we can go to the. Okay. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, this is not going to be like 100% playthrough. I'm just trying to beat the game, not trying to get like every single skull. Like, I'll get them if I see them, but you know, I'm not going out of my way or anything. Oh, good. That's crazy. You know, that reminds me of a story. My mom, she's gotten a little better at it now, but when she was younger and I was a kid, she was kind of shy and she wouldn't like really speak up for herself a lot. And I wasn't there when this happened, but my grandmother told me this. But I think I'm going to try to get the horse just because I can do that now, I think. Um, but she went to a auto like parts, auto repair shop, auto body shop, because her car was there was something wrong with it. I forget what. But anyway, they said like, yeah, we'll look at the car and we'll see what's wrong with it. And so she went with my grandmother because my grandmother, she needed like somebody to go over there with her so that if she had to leave her car there or something, then she could have like a ride back. So my grandmother went with her. My grandmother was the type that she would not back down from anybody and she would say what she had to say. And so they're sitting around waiting and they've probably waited about over an hour, and now it's getting close to maybe 2 hours. And she's looking around, and she's noticing that most of the guys at the place are just sitting around not doing anything. Like they're just, I don't know if they're on a break or what, but they're just not doing anything. And so she's telling my mom, like, you know, ask them, like, how much longer do they think it's going to be, because we've been sitting here for a while. Well, she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to make a big deal out of it. So my grandmother got up and she said, "Hey, we have been waiting here for like almost 2 hours. Now, are you going to look at her car? Because it doesn't even, to me, it doesn't even look like you've even looked at her car or even worked on it." And the guy was like, "Oh, sorry. Yes, we'll get right on it. We will get right on it." And they did. But it was like if nobody had said anything, there's no telling how long they would have had to wait. And it was only because my grandmother is she was just the type that she's very assertive, and she would just say, "Hey, like, we've been waiting. What's the holdup? Like, come on." And it literally was that they were just jacking around. So let me just go back and see what I have to do. I know you have to like race the guy. I just have to see. Uh, okay, so I like this walkthrough. It says, well, Talon in parentheses or whatever, the fat sleeping guy got kicked out, and Ingo, parentheses, the dirty worker in the stables, is now the owner of the ranch. And then it says, run up to the corral in the center of the area and speak with Ingo to hear him gripe about how awesome he is. Don't be ridiculous. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hard-working Ingo, poured so much energy into this place. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Listen, the great Ganondorf recognized my obvious talents and gave the ranch to me. I will raise a fine horse and win recognition from the great Ganondorf. Say, young man, do you want to ride one of my fine horses? Pay me 10 rupees, and you can ride. Uh-oh. I just realized something. I don't have Epona's song because I didn't learn it as a kid. I guess I can't do this now. Can I? Wait a minute. Oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can warp back. I just realized I never went to the ranch as a kid. Oh, wait. No, I guess I can't do that. Okay, so I would actually have to physically walk all the way back to the Palace of Time or whatever. Let's see. We got about 30 minutes. I'll probably stop at 10, so we got about 30 minutes. So I guess since Forest Temple will probably take time, we can just try to knock this part out in the last 30 minutes because it hopefully won't take too long. And then when I actually start next stream, next Sunday, I can start with the Forest Temple. Oh, wait a minute. I played the wrong song. I meant to play the Sun song. Get my songs all mixed up here. I guess I didn't have to. Well, no, actually, I did have to make it daytime because when I go back to being a kid, it'll need to be daytime, I guess, when I go back to the ranch. But yeah, that was, you know, just going back to that story, that was something I always admired about my grandmother, was that she was assertive and she would speak up when she needed to speak up, which was something I always had a problem with as a kid. I just, you know, I just never wanted to speak up about anything. And then, oh, wait a minute. Oh, can I not? Oh, I guess I can't do this now because she won't move out of the way. Okay, well, I guess I literally do have to do the forest temple now because she's in the way, and or she or he or whoever is in the way. Sheik is in the way. I mean, we all know who Sheik is supposed to be, but it's like, actually, could you maybe move a little to the left so that I could put the sword back? Because I kind of need to become a kid again, if that's cool. Yeah. Well, I guess after we do the forest sim, we probably will get started on that. We probably won't finish it tonight, but at least next stream after we do that, then we can get the horse probably. So that's fine. So now I'll have to skip forward to in the walkthrough where the forest temple is. Okay, so now back to the Lost Woods we go. Okay. But yeah, this has been fun. I've enjoyed getting to play through this again, aside from a few minor things with OBS being dumb, but other than that, it's been good. It's been like raining here. Like, it rained pretty much all last week. It rained this weekend, and it's going to rain like all next week. And I'm not happy about that because I don't really like when it rains, because I kind of just stay inside when it rains. And okay, wait a minute, let me make sure I'm going the right way. Actually, no, I think I'm going the wrong way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just, when it rains a lot, I have to stay in pretty much. It's like I can't even walk over to the store, because if I do, I'm gonna be get all wet if I do. I'll be looking forward to when the sun comes out again and the weather's much better. I do have to go next week and pick up a new pair of glasses that I got coming to me, because I went to the eye doctor like a couple weeks ago, and the only thing with that is, like, I went to like one of the high-end stores at the mall, Warby Parker, and I got a pair of glasses I really like. Then I have a second pair that's from Zenny online, and then they were like, well, you can pick out a pair here. And I was kind of like, well, I like the two pairs I have. But they were like, well, your insurance will cover, a pair. And of course, the eye doctor, the place that I go to, I really don't like any of their frames. But I just tried to find the one that I liked the best out of the ones I looked at. Not that there were many, but... Oh shoot, I think I'm going the wrong way again. But, yeah, Zenny's not bad. The only thing was I had to reorder a couple of times. I mean, I had to, like, cancel the order and... Or not cancel it, but I had to, like, send the glasses back because I screwed up because I didn't know my pupillary distance or whatever it's called. So I had to put in what I thought it was, and apparently I put it in wrong. So when I got them, I just couldn't see shit, and then I had to find an app that would measure it on my phone, which it did, and then I finally, yeah, I got it figured out. It took me a bit, but yeah, the pair I got at the eye doctor that I picked out, it's actually, the frames are similar to a pair that I used to have. They're just slightly bigger. And it was the only pair that I had that I saw that I was like, well, this is like the least ugly out of most of them. So... Right. But yeah, the two pair that I have, they're pretty similar. Right, the ones I have right now. They're similar frames. They just, one looks slightly different than the other. But there we go. Oh, went the wrong way. It's the wrong way too. Shit. Alrighty. Okay. So we'll go this way. Okay, there's nobody that way. What the fuck? I keep going in the wrong direction. How am I getting fucking lost on this? There's a guy down there, but I don't think I need to talk to him. Alright, so go this way. Okay, I think it's straight. I know it's right, left, right, left, straight. Welcome in, Nairo94. I hope you're doing well. Alright, straight, left. Yeah, I'm aware. Oh my god, why do I keep getting freaking lost? Okay, well, I don't really care about the... Okay, here we go. Okay, I got it now. I got it. I got the walkthrough up. Okay. Okay, so it's straight, then left, then right. Okay, I should have figured that out before, I guess. Okay, we made it finally. Oh, I didn't see that guy. Okay, I'll wait for you to move. There we go. Good thing I had bombs. Whoa! I couldn't see him because of the damn camera. No! Fuck. Thought he was turned the other way. Got him. Oh good, I need that heart. Still got him though. I hear him. Whoa! Forgot about that guy. Oh, jeez. I don't have any health or anything. Shit, I don't know. Will this do anything? I caught him, but just barely. I'm gonna have to buy me another potion or fairy or something. So now I'm going to learn the Minuet of Forest. Yeah, I tried to play Hey Jude on the Ocarina earlier, but it didn't have all the right notes, so I couldn't do it. Oh, nice. I don't I don't know that I ever had any Nintendo Powers as a kid because I never subscribed to Nintendo Power, but I also don't remember buying the magazines anywhere. I had stuff like tips and tricks, and I think I had some Game Informers, Game Pro, maybe a few PlayStation magazines. That's probably about it. I had a lot of the PlayStation ones because they had the demo discs, and I had a lot of the demo discs, especially the PS2 demo discs. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's see what else is there. Okay, save and head to the end of the meadow. Hook shot branch above. So I gotta put the hook shot. Yeah, it's too bad it's not really a thing anymore. Oh, the branch. I'm an idiot. Branch. Branch. Hello. Uh-oh, not too far away. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I just remember tips and tricks because I've talked about this before, but I had an issue. I had forgotten it was tips and tricks, but I've actually found the issue online later. But they did a whole piece on all the Jackie Chan video games. And it was the first time I'd seen like the arcade ones because I didn't even know they had arcade games. But they had like images, and that was all new to me. So I was like, that blew my mind that there was like arcade Jackie Chan fighting games. But I remember that particularly. And then I remember there was another issue, I think, also of tips and tricks that talked about Incredible Crisis, and that was the first time I'd seen Incredible Crisis. And then, like I said, the PlayStation magazines, I always wanted to get those because of the demo discs. And I do remember one of them had a demo for a game. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was like something like Freak Style or something. That's probably wrong, but it was basically like a motorcycle racing game, but you could do like tricks on the motorcycle. And I remember like I played the demo of that constantly because I was just like, I just thought it was such a cool game. And then, years later, I got to play it like the full version, but I used to just play that demo over and over. I also remember one of the discs I had, it had a demo for, it was a Britney Spears like Dance Dance Revolution type game. Yeah, Freak Style. That was it. Yeah. And I think I played that once, like just out of curiosity. I've never really been like big on DDR or those types of games, but I played it once just to see, and it was about what I expected. I will tell you this though, this is funny. Um, when I think it was PS1, they had a Spice Girls game. Spice World had come out, and Spice Girls were like really popular at the time, and they had like that movie and everything. So I rented the game because I was curious. And I remember I took it home when I was playing it, and then my dad walked in the room, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't want him to know that I was playing a Spice Girls game, and I like quickly like tried to shut the game off. Like, oh, what are you playing? Oh, it's nothing, nothing. And he knew what it was because he, I don't think he took me to the game store to rent that game. I think my mom actually took me, but he knew that was the game I rented, and he was like, I don't care, I don't give a shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just for research. Just Yeah, I just rented that game for research. Yeah. What's really funny, or well, what was really funny was Game Grumps did an episode where they played that game. I guess because somebody sent it to them, and they had no idea what you were supposed to do. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I rented it. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I'm in the thing, and it's like you can pick a song, and I'm like, am I supposed to try to make the song match up with the parts? And it's like, no, you're just supposed to remix the song, and then you go to another part and you create button combinations to make like dance moves. And I'm like, when I figured that part out, I'm like, this game is not really much of a game at all. Actually, it's just remix songs and then make dance moves, and that's about it. So, but yeah, I admit I listened to some of their music when they were popular, but that's because it was on the radio. All the kids at school would listen to it. So, I mean, it was all over the place. So you just, you know, you couldn't really escape it, I guess. I did watch the movie, but I think I've only seen it once because they showed it in school. They had it might have been, I think I was in the after school daycare, and then they just one day as like a fun thing, they were like, we're going to watch Spice World or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I've never seen it, and we watched it, and I don't remember anything about it. Only thing I know about it is that Meatloaf, that singer Meatloaf, is in it. That's the only thing I know because somebody mentioned that, but I have never seen it since. And I'm kind of just talking here because we're going to end in a couple of minutes anyway, and then we'll do the Forest Temple next Sunday, since that'll be a long part. But yeah, I can say this now. I listened to like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and that was just because all the kids in my school listened to that stuff, and I guess I was trying to fit in. So I thought, well, I guess I should listen to that too. And I go back sometimes and I listen to it now, and I'm just like, I don't really have the same feelings, I guess, that I did when I listened to it when I was younger. Now I'm just kind of like, it's whatever. But that's mostly because now I'm much more into the older music. But, I remember like one of the first bands I really got into early, it might have even been before the Beatles, was Rush. And I remember like I did not tell any of my friends that I listened to Rush because I thought like they're going to think I'm some, you know, oh, he likes the music from like the 70s and the 80s. Like, I didn't think they were going to think it was cool. So when I used to have my little portable CD player and take it, yeah, old people music, take it to school, the times when I was like allowed to for certain things, and I would listen to like Rush's greatest hits, and the kids would come and be like, what are you listening to? And I just make something up because I didn't want to say Rush. And I think one time I said Rush, and then some kid was like, oh, he listens to Rush, and then he went off about it, and I was like, yeah, and this is why I don't say I listen to Rush, because I don't want to get teased about it. I already got teased enough about everything else. But yeah, I very early got into Rush, mostly because my dad had their greatest hits, and then he had that VHS tape, which I've mentioned, that all the music videos on it. So I used to love to watch that tape, and I would always want him to put it on. So I'd watch all those videos, which I thought were really cool. And then, I got into like, I actually got into the Monkees before I got into the Beatles, which is funny now because I have the complete series of the Monkees show on Blu-ray, so I'm trying to go through that. But I got into the Monkees, and then shortly after that, I got into the Beatles. And then the Beatles became like my favorite band and still are. But Yeah, Rush is awesome. Um, but yeah, it was like I liked the older stuff, but as I said, I just wouldn't tell people I listened to it. And actually, my dad didn't even really know that I liked the older stuff because he just thought, well, he likes Backstreet Boys or whatever was popular at the time. It wasn't until years later, like my parents had gotten divorced, and my dad had come to visit me one day to pick me up. We were just going to hang out. So we went over to Walmart because like he had to do some grocery shopping or something. So he was like, I'm going to let you pick out a CD, like, any CD you want, just pick one out. And they had the best of Jimi Hendrix. And my dad loved Jimi Hendrix. So I was like, yeah, best of Jimi Hendrix. And he was like, I didn't know you liked Jimi Hendrix. And I was like, oh, yeah, I love Jimi Hendrix. And then that was like one of the first times we realized, like after my parents divorced, like that we had something in common that we both liked. And then that kind of opened up a whole bunch of other things because then we realized, like, oh, yeah, we are a lot alike. We like the same music. We like the same comedians. We like the same movies. So, but yeah, it was tough times as a kid because I felt like I had to hide a lot of things because I didn't want to get made fun of. So, nowadays I can openly say what I like and stuff, but back then it was like, you know, did not want to say that I listened to older music. And there were a few kids that did listen to older music. There was one that was very into AC/DC, which I had not listened to at the time. I listened to them much later. But even then, like, he was, I guess, cool enough that the other kids knew that and they didn't make fun of him for it or anything. But I was like this nerdy kid, scrawny, skinny kid, and I got made fun of constantly. So it wouldn't have mattered if I said I like AC/DC or Metallica. They still would have been like, they would have said what they said. But yeah, we are both Sparks fans for sure. I can't imagine what I would have thought if I had heard Sparks as a kid. I don't know if I would have even enjoyed it. I probably would have just thought it was weird music, probably, because it would have been so unlike anything I was listening to at the time, I guess. One of the closest things I can sort of equate it to, and this is probably not even a good comparison, but like Depeche Mode, but just because Depeche Mode's music is kind of different and it can be upbeat, sometimes it can be a little dark, stuff like that. It's probably not the best comparison to make, but that's the reasoning I always say. Like, I think my dad would like Sparks because he kind of liked Depeche Mode and kind of music that was a little different. So I wish we could have had that conversation, or I could have been like, oh, you don't know Sparks? Well, here, listen to this. This is good stuff. But yeah, I do go back and listen to some old, like some 90s rock and things, whatever that was popular at the time. I really was like not into rap, and I'm still not much, but I know there was a lot of that going on, you know, at the time. A lot of kids were listening to rap. And I remember I came into school one day and I was singing this rap song that I had just heard somewhere. And it had a lot of bad language in it. I wasn't singing those parts, but I guess it just got stuck in my head because I heard somebody singing the words. And one of my friends was like, where did you hear that song? And I go, oh, I just heard somebody sing it. He's like, you shouldn't sing that song. He's like, that song is like bad language and you don't want to be singing it around school where somebody could hear you. And I was like, well, shit, I don't care. But he's like, no, you don't want to be singing that song. I was like, oh, okay. So So I stopped, but yeah, it's funny to look back on things when you were a kid, I guess. And like I said, just to kind of close this part off, I guess. But my dad, and I've said this many times, but he had this fucking amazing stereo system. I think it was like a Technics. I don't know what model it was, but I mean expensive stereo system that I don't know how he was able to afford it, but he got it. And it was amazing. I was not allowed to touch it because if I did, he was worried I was going to break it because that was what he always thought with me and like technology and electronics was like, I don't want you touching it because you'll break it. But he would put all his CDs in there and just play Paul Simon or play Green Day or play Nirvana or whatever else, Smash Mouth. He liked a lot of the current groups of the time, and he had one of those zip up like CD cases where you could just put the discs in and just slide them in. And he had all the booklets for each album. So I used to just go through that and look at the cover art for all the albums. So I'd look at like the cover for Dookie, and I'd look at all the illustrations on that, and I'd look at like the cover for Nevermind. I'd be like, why is it a baby underwater? I don't understand that, but it's cool. And so that really made me appreciate album art, I guess, because I would just look at those covers, and then when he was around, yeah, he would play stuff and he'd let me sit on the couch with him in the living room and we'd listen to music. So he'd play like Paul Simon, and that's how I grew to love Paul Simon because he had like Paul Simon's greatest hits. And so we just listen. So certain songs I hear now, and that's what I think of is like sitting on the couch with my dad listening to music. So, it's good memories. But yeah, Josh, you and I should talk music sometime. That would be really cool. Um, and actually, this is funny. Just one more thing I'll say here, but uh, Necro, who some of us know on Twitch, Necro VMX, he does a thing on his Discord. It's usually Monday nights where they get together and talk about music. And I've always been meaning to jump in and like join. They listen to music and they discuss the songs. And last Monday, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in and participate. I think that'd be cool. And I just totally forgot about it. So I went back to check later and I was like, well, who even were they talking about? Because I always pick a different artist. And it was Todd Rundgren. And I went, shit, man. I literally have all of Todd Rundgren's albums on vinyl. I could have contributed so much to that conversation. And I just forgot. I forgot to check in when it was time. And then I checked later and I was like, oh, damn. And I even posted on there. I was like, damn it, I could have contributed. I have all his albums. And he was real nice. He was like, well, you're welcome to jump in anytime we do this. And I was like, yeah, I'll jump in next Monday. I said, I was like, surely it's not going to be anybody that I could say anything about. And I'm like, fuck, it's the one person that would have had a lot to say. But anyway, that's how that goes. All right, so I think that's going to do it for me tonight. We're going to find somebody to host here. I know there's a friend of mine that was going to hop on, except I don't think she's live, but she hasn't actually started yet. So we might just send everybody over to somebody else for now, because she might actually start later. But I do want to say thanks, Josh, Danny, Arma, Life, Duster. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. The new person that hopped in, I don't know if they're still here or not. Niro or Nero 94. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'm going to raid. I never raid Quack Attack, but I'm going to raid Quack Attack for a change because he's a nice guy, so I think it'd be good to raid him. But yeah, take care, everybody. I will be back on Tuesday night for Turntable Tuesday. And let me just see. Okay, there's an ad here, so let me wait for this ad to finish playing, and then we will raid Quack Attack. Looks like an Applebee's ad, but the last time I went to Applebee's, it was terrible, so I will not be going back to Applebee's.
12 hours.
All right, here we go. We're going to raid Quack Attack. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and I'll catch you later.
I mean, I take a day off of work. But that's okay. I will. I don't mind.
We'll just have to strategize the right day.
I am. But I have to be